They don't, like a lot of artists don't like that.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like they don't want to talk to you, they want to talk to me. So like even having a person with the relationships and coming in to do stuff like that, like that's how we actually started, like with management company and stuff like that. I knew that it was a female that can come in and could kind of shake me up to get some stuff and then help me with the business, and I could go out there and pull in more people. So that worked.
I started by just having a love for trap music. I'm also a nurse of 6 years, so I was doing that, and I started like a hashtag years ago. It was Car Jams with CHERRI, and I would just always be in the car rapping some trap music, and that's how I got noticed. And then, you know, I grew up on like the greatest mixtape DJs out there, Spinatic, Holiday, Drama, you name it. So I always wanted to put out my own mixtapes. I finally put out my own mixtape. I had a local event where I just distributed 500 hard copies to my local bar and told everybody to come down. So I put in that streetwear, I did that, and it just made me like want to do more. So I took a college hip-hop history class, and I actually interviewed you during that class, talking about hip-hop in my community and stuff. So that's what led me to podcasting. I was doing music videos for someone, and they were like, have you ever podcasted before? And I was like, no. So we were doing that for 2 years. I was running a podcast at a social media house, which is on Long Island. That's It's Biscuit Studio. I was also doing one at Audio Workstations, and now I have my own. So the podcasting took everything further. Everybody was seeing that, you know, I knew all these big names. I'm dropping their music, blah, blah, blah. But now it's like I want to sit down and start interviewing these artists. So that started taking off, and then I had a controller for DJing for about 4 years. 6 hard drives broke on me. Oh, wow. Thought this was not for me, like DJing is not for me, but everybody's like, you know your music, like you know these people in this industry, you know the music, just sit there and start learning. So I did, and that's when Heavy Hitters DJ New Era, I was watching his live one day, and I was writing every lyric to Jeezy and 2 Chainz and all of that in his live, and he's like, you really know your music? And I'm like, yeah, I do. So he's like, I want to help you build your brand more and do all of that. So basically that's why I'm on his team. I'm learning to be a better DJ. He's helping me with the branding and building my brand off of his brand. And yeah, so here we are today. So if I talk really fast, I apologize.
I got it.
I feel out of breath right now.
Anyone got some water? I think you some.
I have water.
Okay,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, now journalism. 19 of the junior at UMES, University of Maryland Eastern Shore. I remember some old white lady. She came to journalism 301, and the whole class was ignoring her, and I was the only one paying attention. And she noticed that, so she pulled me to the side, and she said, "She's with USA Today. Do you want an internship?" Okay. You got me so I don't. She said politics. It wasn't even music, and I'm like, well, politics. She's like, we'll teach you. We'll teach you. You paid attention. And so yeah, did that. And I didn't even mention when I was introducing myself. Because of that, I started the DMVdaily.com, which is a platform in the DMV. Like, anyone seen it before?
What's it called?
The DMV Daily. This is my website there. It's popular in the DMV. It became popular there, and I used that while I was in grad school to apply to hella PR firms. I was in DMs every website, and I DM'd Singer's Room, and I did not know at that time their editor-in-chief Joshua. He also runs a PR firm now, Influencing, and he was like, you know, you can come on, and he had me work with a couple of people. Then that was cool. Then I moved to New York for a couple of years. I was at every event, and I ran into Marie Driven and Gene Jones, you know, playlist. And you know, they like my vibe. They invited me to a bar. got lit, and they were like, for a couple of months, they're like, okay, we'll try you out, let's get you an internship, 3 months. Knocked out the internship. Then they gave me a job to work with them for a couple of years, and it was to a point where, you know, I feel like I could do my own thing, so do my own thing. And here I am, because of my past work, I got recommendations left and right, and I got the privilege to work with a lot of people, including still got cuts. No, shout out to you. Appreciate that a lot. Just a bunch of artists who really, and they really appreciate the work that I've done. At Playbook, I worked with Janaski, I worked a little bit with Cranium, I worked with a lot of people. I don't like saying it because I feel that comes off as bragging.
No, this is the thing. That's
your resume.
That's your journey. That's your journey.
You are going to inspire the next person.
Thanks. Thanks,
You
but
like name dropping as big time.
yeah, you know, like we don't like to name drop because it's like, you know, everything to me I feel like it's God given. It's not because I'm like, oh, no. Because of God, I work with them. But anyways, that's just my start, and you know, yeah.
You know, sometimes when you think about like, how did I get here? And it's like when you're just on the move, sometimes you don't really, you know, put it in order. Like, how did I do this and that? But I started off as a singer. You know, I was singing. I had these dreams of like, I want to be an artist. Like, you know, me and my friend, one of my friends here, like, we used to be in the studio recording, putting stuff on, you know, CDs and whatnot. When I got to high school, you know, it became more about like behind the scenes versus it being in the spotlight. Went to college. I got an internship. I literally applied for like over 40-something internships. Didn't get one call back, not one. One person reached out to me, and you know, they was like, I can't really offer you much, but if you would like to like learn this business, you can. His name is Riley Wallace, and that's like my mentor. So I started working for his, yeah, I started working for his blog called Above Average Hip Hop. From there, I kind of like made a name for myself. I was doing lots of interviews, going to lots of events, and then someone from the movement with Drewski saw what I was doing, and they were like, hey, you know, we're starting this team, do you want to come help out over here? So I went to the movement, was doing interviews for them, write-ups for them. From there, you know, I feel like when it's time for you to kind of take that leap of faith and, you know, move on, you got to move on from stuff, even if you don't want to. From there, I kind of went to hip-hop since 1987. Started working with the feature presentation a little bit with +1. And then I ended up at Hip-Hop.DX. That's where I am now. I've been there for a little over 3 years, and it's been great. You know, I do a lot of interviews there, a lot of write-ups there, but one thing I realized is that when you are creative and you want to dabble in everything, sometimes when you're a part of another brand, a bigger brand, they kind of box you in, and it's like you can't really do the things that you want to do. So I started my own thing, Amber Career Media, where I was doing interviews behind my one brand called Backstage Chat, and I would do interviews with the artists I wanted to talk to, the public figures I wanted to talk to. Then I started a live show called Show and Tell, which was actually really good. Like, you know, I want to give myself a little pat on the back because it was good. And I proved to myself that the people I want to talk to, whether it's the big names on side, I can do that on my own. I don't need like a big platform behind me to do that. And I was able to take the connections that I already made. You know, I was building my own brand while under another brand. I took those connections and I was able to have my own show. People actually wanted to be a part of it. It was actually successful. And then that's pretty much how I ended up where I am. So I'm doing my own thing while I'm still working for another platform, and I'm just excited to see where I go next. Because like I said, when it's your time to move on, you gotta go. That's it.
Like she said, it's really hard to like figure out where you started after a while. That's why I looked over there when you asked the question. I was like, but I guess like the hard start was in college. I did college radio. And I live in Staten Island. At that point, I was at college of Staten Island, and they had a radio station that literally did alternative music. I had the only hip hop show on there, so I got popular for that within, you know, my area. And then from there, I was like, okay, so I really like this. I got the bug. Prior to that, I always knew I wanted to be in entertainment, but didn't really know what. I'm from a Middle Eastern background, Muslim background, so my parents would never have understood, like, nah, I'm gonna be an artist, like, that just doesn't make sense to them. So I went to college for communications. That was kind of my like loophole. And I was always like the person who just was like, do what you gotta do so you get to do what you wanna do. And that's basically how internships work. So after the show I had on college radio, I ended up kind of just looking for internships everywhere, literally looked up the people that I look up to and figured out how they started their careers. Crazy stories can come from there, like the time where I applied to what I thought was Wu-Tang and ended up like almost getting basically kidnapped. So I'm just, but not by Wu-Tang, but they were just using their name. At that point I was like, I gotta get out of Staten Island. And then I was like, you know, let me just apply to some bigger companies that I really would want to, you know, work for, and ended up working for, well, interning for Clear Channel, which ended up being iHeartRadio eventually. Did promotions there. How I even got that internship, like you said, I was like, I applied for like 50 million of them, nobody called me back. And then I kind of did the follow-up. I called them and I was just like, I interviewed. I didn't even get the interview at that point. I was just like, I applied, and you know, I think I would be really good for this company. They're like, all right, we'll come tomorrow, let's see what happens. So I ended up working for like all the top 5 radio stations in New York. From there, you know, it's a lot of networking, which is great, you learn everything, but it's very rare for you to really get a job from an internship, especially at that point, because a lot of internships are kind of like illegal. It's not like now where it's like you actually get paid for them and there's like credits and, you know, all of that. So, you know, I was the intern that was like sleeping in the studio and like waking up and doing the Breakfast Club and then doing, you know, all of that crazy stuff. And so from there, I applied to other places with the resume I got from iHeart. Ended up working at MS, which is Hot 97, BLS and all that. Ended up working at Sirius XM, ended up being a personality on there. And you know, just the list goes on. It's just like, I just kind of kept saying yes. I just said yes to every opportunity. And even if it wasn't me being a personality, I just wanted to be next to it.